Hello.
Hey, Fran.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey.
Fran, I think I saw you in Game of Thrones the other day.
You saw me in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Oh
you
shit. Was I the stereotypical British villain by
I
any
think
chance?
you were a prostitute, because that's like 90% of the cast of Game of Thrones.
Is that so?
Yeah, there are lots of prostitutes in that show. I just
Okay,
started
was
watching...
I Peter Dinklage's prostitute by any chance?
Hmm?
Was I Peter Dinklage's prostitute by any chance?
I don't remember. But he is really sexy, so I hope so.
He's incredibly sexy.
Started watching Game of Thrones last night. Each episode is like an hour long, but I thought that was like an hour plus commercials, like what The Walking Dead. But I remembered that HBO doesn't have commercials, so it really is an hour long.
That's remarkable. HBO doesn't have commercials.
No.
Not that I know of, no.
Well, no, it's interesting because the BBC doesn't either, and I used to think that was pretty exclusive to the BBC.
I know PBS, which is public television, they don't have commercials either, because they get funded by
people like you.
Yeah.
We have commercials though. I think that's so cool. Every time I listen to this podcast and I see a commercial beforehand, I think I'm on something with a fucking commercial on it.
No.
And then I have a little cry.
Yeah. I was playing, shocker, I was playing You Don't Know Jack on Facebook today, and there was a question where it says choose, I'm gonna read off names, they read off names, and it said, choose whether this name is a type of horse or something on the UK Burger King menu. And I think I got like 4 out of 7 of them right. And I didn't know you guys had such different fucking menus.
Well, go on then. What did you? Can you remember any of them?
I don't even remember. One of them started with a C. I don't remember. I'd have to like look up UK Burger King menu. And
I just had such. It's not even a joke. It's just a really horrible, not even play on words.
Uh-huh.
Are you gonna bleep it out?
What?
You said it began with C, and then in my head I went like cunt,
yeah,
which
I didn't
like doesn't even make any fucking sense.
I'm like, no, it doesn't start with cunt. I promise. But it was really weird, and I'm like, that's when it wasn't a horse, I was like, that's a burger, like.
Well, I don't know. I think there's a bit of a stereotype over there that we eat very strange food in the UK.
Uh-huh.
I can assure you though, like jellied eels, nobody eats jellied eels. I don't think anyone's eaten them since about 1800.
But you guys still rock like the fish and chips, right?
Fish and chips, but I don't think that's that weird, because that's just fish and that's just battered fish, battered cod.
I think it's just weird that you call French fries chips.
Well, but we call what you would call chips crisps.
I know, it's so weird.
Oh my god. Okay, this was one of the burgers on the You Don't Know Jack, because I went on the website.
That's weird.
I went on the website. A double rodeo looks fucking delicious. It's like a double cheeseburger, but it has onions and cheese and barbecue sauce on it.
See, but that's on the like special sort of. I think that came out. I seem to remember on the adverts that came out as like a special America promotion, like all American Burger King. So yeah, I'm surprised you don't have that.
No,
a double
I've
rodeo
never heard
burger.
of that before. And also a Big King.
Sadly.
Also, a Big King is just basically a Big Mac from McDonald's.
Yeah, they're not even attempting to hide the kind of like
exactly like a Big Mac, except it doesn't have bread in the middle.
Big King. Wow, that's kind of like how you could take something called That Guy with the Glasses, and then you could change the name a little bit to Those Girls with the Podcast.
Yeah.
But nobody would do that.
Yeah. Only like really unoriginal drunk people would do that.
Absolutely.
Right.
So yeah, I started watching Game of Thrones, and that shit is freaking awesome, but I've been told that every character that you basically like in that show is either gonna end up raped or killed. Which I guess pretty much happened in the medieval times, but It doesn't take place in the medieval times.
No, it doesn't. It takes place in some sort of like, is it a kind of Lord of the Rings?
It's fantasy, yeah. It's basically like its own little Earth thing.
Right.
Westeros, I think it's called. I'm probably butchering that because I'm only 4 episodes in and I only know about half of the names of everything, so.
Well, I'm watching The X-Files at the moment, which apparently I'll never be done with.
We'll never finish The X-Files.
My friend Sky, she ships them so hard.
Yeah, so does my friend Katie, actually. Yeah, I mean, I don't really ship David and Gillian. I ship Mulder and Scully big time. I mean, the sex tension between them is just stupid. I mean, there's no, I mean, in the most wonderful possible way, there's absolutely no sort of subtlety. They barely allude to other romantic interests. I mean, they were always going to shag.
I mean, my mom, when I think sometime just in the past year, I told my mom that there was a news report that was saying that since David Duchovny broke up with his wife and Gillian Anderson, I don't know her relationship status at the moment, but like there were news reports saying like, oh, they're actually together. And Mom's like, I hear one of those news reports at least every 5 years. Like, every 5 years, I mean, somebody will start up a rumor that Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny are fucking. And
I mean, that's pretty incredible. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard one of those rumors about the Friends cast. I mean the chemistry between them.
Granted, I would cream my pants if that actually happened.
Oh, tell me about it.
I would be so fucking happy, but it's never gonna happen.
No, my friend Sky, she's convinced that Gillian Anderson's baby is David Duchovny's. She's like, he was the first person she told. I mean, what does that mean to you?
Well, I'm convinced that Kate Middleton's baby is going to be black. If that happened, I could die happy if Kate Middleton's baby was black.
That would be really funny.
It would be so, because William is such a doofus. I don't think you would notice.
Sometimes if you have like a black like great grandmother or something, your baby can come out black. There's like a 1% chance.
Yeah, I'd love that to happen. I mean, there must have been some screwing around in the royal family. I mean, I don't buy that their kind of ancestry is entirely sort of...
All I want is for Pippa and Harry to have little red-headed ginger children.
Oh, yeah, Harry. I kind of want me and Harry to have little red-headed children, though.
Harry and somebody so he could have little ginger children.
Harry is so much better looking than
Harry
William.
is better looking than William.
William's just a dork.
They both look like dorks.
Oh, and this is coming from someone from you who lives there. And you're like,
yeah, I have
much
no
better.
love for the royal family. No, I think the royal family is an institution that needs to die slowly.
But Harry can stay.
Yeah, Harry can go.
Harry can rule the entire royal family. Like, he can be king and just be like, fucking naked orgies all the time, every day. Like,
you mean they don't already do that?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say Greer, of course. I mean that wouldn't be a wild departure from.
It'd be like him and just it would be like back a year ago when he showed his butt on camera. It'd be like him and Ryan Lochte just like ruling the house, and there would be parties all the time.
I really want to, when I'm kind of a relatively well-known writer performer. When, not if. I really want to have a nip slip.
That's one thing that Kathy Griffin, that's what I love about her. She would screw around with the paparazzi a lot. Like, I watched her show a lot. My Life on the D-List. She had this show where cameras would follow her around and stuff, and she would do anything to try to get photographed just because she could. Like, I think she was in London or something, and she pretended to fall out of her car and be like drunk, and then the Paps had taken pictures of it, and it was all over the news. And she would like go out with like celebrities and stuff and try to get people to write about it, just because she could, just because to fuck around with him and get her name out there.
Yeah, I mean,
and she was doing it like super ironically too, like it was so funny.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think own it,
Yeah.
Like, if these idiots are going to kind of clamour for your kind of, I don't know, for anything they can get their grubby hands on, then I think, yeah, like, fully sort of take the piss out of them.
Yeah. But now that was when that's why her show was called My Life on the D-List, because nobody really cared about her stuff. But now she's like,
no, nobody knows her over here, really.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't have known about her unless you had kind of.
You should
told
watch
me.
her show. It is so. I think it ended a few years ago, but she had been doing it for a few years. It's super funny, and and there are like some really emotional episodes too. Like during the filming, it was like the middle endish of her show. Her father died, and she did a whole episode about that, like her father dying and stuff like that. And I think also one of her dogs died during the beginning of the show, and it gets super emotional, but it's also like some of the funniest television I've ever seen in my life.
I love Kathy Griffin's stand-up. I think she's like so funny.
She's the best. She is my inspiration. She is the best.
Yeah, people that say women aren't funny can fuck the fuck off.
And also she's a hot redhead, so.
I know, and she's like in her 50s and she looks so good.
She openly admits about like, and I've read her memoir, like she's had liposuction and like stuff done. And she openly admits it, and she embraces it. You know, she doesn't give a fuck. And I don't know. I just think that's really admirable that she just does not give a damn.
Yeah, I kind of do too. I mean, I think, you know, it's her business. It's nobody else's. You know, it's not for anyone else to judge her.
Yeah.
You know, if that's what makes her feel comfortable, then go for it. You know,
It's
like Joan Rivers now just looks like more kind of plastic than human.
Yeah.
But she's brilliant. She's one of the funniest people on the planet.
I actually think Joan Rivers, even though she looks so weird, I think she looks better than she would if she had let herself age.
See, I sort of think actually when people age, you know, just as naturally as they possibly can, but still obviously keep themselves in shape, I think they tend to look better. But I mean, I think it's all personal, you know, it's whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah. I don't know, Joan Rivers has grown so tiring for me. Like, because she has this show over here called Fashion Police, and when she started that show, I just grew, like, I'm just like, oh my god, it's the same thing every week. Every one of her Grammy shows, take a shot every time she makes a fat joke about Adele, and you will be dead in 15 minutes.
See, that's the kind of thing that irritates me. It's like, you know, Joan Rivers, I try not to judge people's appearances as much as possible, but of course I'm guilty of doing it because I'm human.
Like everyone.
But to have frickin' Joan Rivers judging other people's fashion and how they look, like whether it be Adele's weight or whatever, I'm just like, you look like Cruella de Vil. What the hell are you judging someone else's fashion choices for?
Another thing that baffles me is that Kelly Osbourne is also on that show, and every time I see her, she's wearing the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. She tops it every time I look at her. And I'm like, what are you doing on this show? You can't dress yourself.
But see, like, I think that because of that, I think Joan Rivers probably has more right than anyone to make arbitrary fat jokes because, you know, she's like the most made fun of a celebrity ever practically about her appearance.
It's like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think
I've
in general we just need to stop focusing on people's friggin' weight and what they wear. It doesn't fucking matter.
I know what you're saying. I like Serena. I really like, and I think, I mean, it's like, for instance, when Susan Boyle was becoming popular over here, and Amanda Holden, who's this kind of, I don't know, very kind of Barbie girl looking judge on Britain's Got Talent, and one of the people that Susan Boyle auditioned for, she was like, no, Susan Boyle shouldn't have a makeover. Like, what's great about her is that, you know, she looks so natural. And it pissed a lot of people off because they were sort of like, well, you know, who are you stick thin Barbie girl to, you know, tell her that she can't have a makeover, that then it wouldn't be like empowering. Mm-hmm. So I know what you mean about like kind of having the right to say these things, but at the same time I think Heather's right. I think like, yeah, ultimately we should just try and judge each other as little as possible. Like, it annoys me even when people do it about Kristen Stewart, like all these things about her, you know, oh, she's actually really ugly, and all these memes about her being really vapid, and it's like,
I don't think she's ugly. I've never thought she was ugly. Like, she every time I look at her, she's like open mouth breathing, and I'm like, close your mouth.
Yeah. I don't rate her as an actress, but I do feel like give the poor girl a break. Like, it's started to, I think,
It's like people. Sorry.
She seems like a nice person, and if you are a nice person in this world, I don't give a fuck. If you're nice and you aren't hurting anybody.
It's so asinine that people hate her so much because she was in the Twilight movies. Like, she didn't write it. They paid her to be in a movie. That's her job.
Yeah, I'd do it in a heartbeat if somebody paid me.
I really
too.
Would. She's making fucking. She can wipe her tears with $100 bills. Like,
exactly. I mean, and I just think as well, like, she's a young woman and is actually quite vulnerable, I think, to the sort of the press, just in terms of when she broke up with Robert Pattinson, the fact that
and they may or may not have even been together anyway.
I know. I think they were, because I think she came out and said, "I'm sorry, Rob, for cheating on you." I think she did actually make a statement. But I mean, what really annoyed me was that she kissed a married man in his 40s, and yet the media attention was entirely focused on what a tramp she supposedly was.
Exactly.
And not the married guy with 2 kids. Did he have 2 kids?
Yeah, 2 kids. Yeah, I mean, and I think
it's just absurd that, like, you cheated on your boyfriend, you're a whore. This guy cheated on his wife when he has children with her. Nobody cares.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is. It's slut shaming. That's exactly what it is. I mean, I'm very, like, I'll make fun of Twilight. I'll make fun of Twilight till the cows come home. But I try and steer clear of making fun of Kristen Stewart, because I think that something about that just doesn't sit quite right with me.
Yeah. I don't see why people make fun of Robert Pattinson, because he actually seems like a stand-up dude. Like,
he seems like
I just find it hilarious how much he apparently hates Twilight.
Yeah, that's funny to me.
Well, he's a smart guy, you know? I mean, it's his bread and butter, but, you know, I sort of respect him for biting the hand that feeds.
Like he knows what it is. He knows it's dumb and a teen thing, and he's like, eh.
The only main issue, besides it being stupid, that I have with Twilight is that young girls are now learning that type of relationship is a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think
but
terrible...
my argument to that is, who's gonna ever find a guy like that?
There are some best people in the world.
I mean,
you're gonna find a sparkly vampire, but to find a man that'll treat you like crap, that's not gonna be that hard.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I feel like. That thing about a guy being, you know, supposedly just needing someone to love him and understand him, and, you know, a guy being kind of distant and mysterious, like, that's not a good thing.
Troubled.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
That whole idea that, you know, you find this guy that's messed up, you can fix him. Like, no, that's not how it works.
It's not healthy. They're not healthy. They can't find what they're looking for in a relationship, and you can't find what you're looking for in a relationship with them. I mean,
see, that's actually why I love when Doug did his, like, is Twilight the worst thing ever video. It is way too intellectual for, like, the average Twilight hater, because everyone's like, oh, it's the worst thing ever. And I'm like, really? 3 children in Africa just died of hunger when you were speaking that sentence.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Twilight's the worst thing ever? No, hunger is poverty.
There will always be asinine pop culture.
The kids in Africa would love to have entertainment or something to look at.
It's the people that give frickin' Bieber that much shit. I'm like, yeah, when I was a kid, I was in love with NSYNC. It's just as bad.
Yeah, I think Doug's right when he says, like, you know, they're just, like, dumb kids. They're gonna grow out of it, and they're gonna see how stupid it was.
This exact same thing happened in the 90s. It happened in the 80s. And it's gonna keep happening for the rest of time. But now we just have more media outlets to express it on.
Yeah, exactly. We've got more ways than ever to have a whinge.
We got more ways ever to be a cunt, basically.
Exactly. I mean, I like, am oddly, sort of perversely glad that Twilight exists, because I just think it's really, really funny.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like the Twihard fan, the girl, I mean, who posts a video about every day about Twilight.
That British girl?
Yeah, who watches the trailer in tears.
Yeah.
And like,
oh god, I saw that one.
Yeah, I mean, she's insane, legitimately insane. And there's, oh my god, yeah, I can't believe I haven't mentioned this yet. My friend Elliot posted on my wall a hotline an official hotline that Twilight fans can call to hear quotes from the film if they are grieving its coming to an end.
That's awesome.
I mean, and I called it. Do you want me to call it now? I wonder if I could put it on speakerphone.
Do it.
It is
Does
honestly
it cost
like
anything?
amongst yourselves for a moment while I try and get the number.
Is it one of those things where it's like 66 cents for the first minute, 120 for any additional minutes or something? Or is it free?
Oh, I imagine. I mean, it's absurd. It was one of the most baffling things. Where I think this is the number. See if I can figure out how to get it on speaker.
Please do this.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Speaker. Right.
Hello. Thanks for calling Twi-line. The Twilight Twi-line is here for you. We know it hurts. We feel your pain. The Twilight saga is complete, or so you thought. Now you can relive every moment. I would have gone to you both one. As long as we both show us. Every look is so beautiful. Every touch is so temperature. Every kiss. Like it was the first time. And know the consequences of the choice you're making. The story doesn't have to end. All my life now. Relive every moment. Choose your side. I'm in love with you, but I want you to pick me instead of him. And fall in love again and again and again and again. I promise to love you.
This is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life!
Forever is just the beginning.
This is
I had to hang up.
That
there.
has to be a joke.
But can you believe that? It was, honestly, I was crying.
That guy sounds like he should be narrating for, like, the Harry Potter ride or some shit.
I mean, it's the strangest sort of voice to pick, like, just that real, like, someone you could imagine on, like, a network news show with his hair, like, slicked back, and, like, just a really weird choice, like a middle-aged newsreader. Very, very strange indeed. But, I mean, honestly, I was incredibly happy. And if Twilight can bring me that kind of happiness, I'd say carry on.
So what's it called so people can go call it?
I can't...
Twi-line, did it say?
Yeah, it just says Twilight Helpline.
Wow.
I know, allows grieving fans to relive classic moments. What baffles me is that why don't they just watch clips?
I know, right?
I mean,
or just watch the whole movie.
Maybe they're like just like, I don't know.
Insane.
I don't know, like,
I mean, but the thing is, I mean, they've completely exploited these, I don't know, like, mad with obsession teenage girls. Like, it's just so blatantly a scam.
To be fair, if they did that with the Avengers, I would call that shit.
Oh,
yeah. To be fair, if they did that with anything I'm into, I would do that. Like,
well, I quite like the idea of it almost being like Robert Pattinson is talking to them down the phone and telling them how much he loves them and how...
That's what Robert Pattinson will be doing in like 30 years or something.
Oh, poor bastard. We were gonna to go down a slightly less jolly route.
Fran, I wanted to talk to you about Piers Morgan for a second.
Okay.
I know that you hate Piers Morgan, and I can...
Well, we all hate Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan is the devil.
Okay. I've told Fran that I have no real problem with Piers Morgan, only because he's a good interviewer. Like, on Thursday night, he interviewed Snoop Lion, and I enjoyed myself. But, he's on, Celebrity Apprentice All-Stars just started back up again, and they're bringing back all these different people from, the previous Celebrity Apprentices, and, Piers was like, I guess he's like a temp judge or whatever, because he had won one of the seasons, and, oh shit. So, he's one of the guest judges or whatever, because they were bringing back winners to be guest judges. So,
okay.
And all he's there for is to say how much of a cunt Omarosa is. And Omarosa is, I think she worked for Al Gore once, and she was married, I think at one point she was engaged to Michael Clark Duncan.
Yeah, she was.
So she was in the regular Apprentice, the one without celebrities, and then she came back for Celebrity Apprentice All-Stars because she's been listed as like one of the top reality TV villains or whatever, and because she's such a bitch, and so all Piers Morgan is really there for is to say, oh, Omarosa's such a liar, she's such a cunt, basically, and she's like, she's one of the top villains, and blah, 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 and that's all he's there for, only because...
That's a great accent, by the way, Greer.
Only because I think at one point Omarosa had, like, insulted his family or his children or something.
Oh, well, that's not very nice, but he is a scumbag.
But all he is there for is to, like, just remind us all that Omarosa is a cunt. That's basically all.
Does anybody even really talk about Omarosa anymore?
Well, now they are, because she's back for the Celebrity Apprentice.
Oh. I despise Donald Trump, so I don't want anything to do with anything related to The Apprentice.
I watched The Celebrity Apprentice only because, like they have Gary Busey back on there, and Bret Michaels.
Gary Busey's insane.
Gary Busey he's great. I actually really like him. He seems like a super cool guy, despite, like, all of his craziness, and he's not even crazy because he wants to be half the time. He just is because of his brain problems, but, like...
Yeah, that's true. I do forget that sometimes.
You guys know what happened to
Gary... I didn't know.
You guys know what happened to Gary Busey, right?
Yeah. He had an accident or something?
He used to be an actor, and then he got in a really bad motorcycle accident, and basically has had brain damage ever since. So that's why he's so, like...
Wow, I had no idea.
Out there. But he seems like a super cool dude, and Bret Michaels was on there. Bret Michaels was the winner last season of Celebrity Apprentice, but he came back and he got fired the first fucking episode for some dumbass reason, and I'm really mad because I like Bret Michaels a lot. So
there's the guy that presents The Apprentice in the UK. It's this brilliant, like, Lord Alan Sugar, and he's this, like, self-made...
I know who he is.
You know who he is?
I saw him on Jonathan Ross once, I think.
Yeah, he's kind of a self-made man, but he's a Cockney. Huh. So he talks like that. So he goes, "You're fired," like that, and he's just brilliant. And he turns up every episode in a helicopter, and they play this dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I don't even think they even show the regular Apprentice anymore. All it is Celebrity Apprentice, because Celebrity Apprentice got way more ratings than the regular Apprentice. So
see, I think the regular Apprentice was
celebrities than regular people that they don't know. So
I always thought the regular Apprentice was hilarious because of the idiots that used to be on it. I mean, like people that would say with no hint of irony. Like, I think one of them, they did interviews with a whole load of a whole new batch of them once. And I think one of them was like, "Yeah, my slogan's what was it? JDI, just do it." And it's like, you twat.
That sounds like something here. I almost wish they still ran the regular Apprentice, because I don't know, like, I feel like they would get such fucking morons now that 2010 has rolled around, the new decade has rolled around.
New batch of idiots. What baffled me was that they would say really cocky shit like that, and then they'd barely be able to. They couldn't organize a piss up in a brewery. I mean. Just, honestly, idiots.
But, yeah, I didn't even start watching The Apprentice until Celebrity Apprentice came along, because it's like, oh, Bret Michaels, oh, Gary Busey, oh, who else is on there? Trace Atkins is on there, Dennis Rodman is on there on the Celebrity All-Star Apprentice, which is pretty great. All these really obscure-ass celebrities, and it's just really, really funny to watch, and...
The best Celebrity Apprentice in the UK had this awful Lib Dem politician, Lembit Opek, who he's just a sleazebag. And he ended his relationship with his really classy newsreader wife to go out with one of the cheeky girls who are just like an appalling pop duo that were popular for about 10 minutes in the 90s, and she was like half his age, and they just systematically ripped him to shreds. It was beautiful to the whole.
I forget like who else has been on Celebrity. Joan Rivers has been on Celebrity Apprentice. She won, I think, a couple seasons ago. She won the entire Celebrity Apprentice.
Yeah, Annie Duke, Lisa Lampanelli, that chick from Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Yeah. I think who else? Some football. Gene Simmons was on there one year, I think. One of the Kardashians was on there one year. Tom Green was on.
Oh, I remember that.
Nope.
He was less crazy than I wanted him to be.
I actually think Joan and Melissa Rivers were on the same season.
Yeah, and Melissa had her leg broken for like half the season.
Yeah. Sharon Osbourne, I think, was on. Cyndi Lauper was on there. Sinbad was on there.
Cheryl Tiegs, David Cassidy.
David Cassidy was on there. I remember my mom loving watching David Cassidy.
And my mom was so mad when he got fired. She was like, "How could you fire David Cassidy?" David Cassidy.
I remember when Gary Busey was on one of the seasons, and also the same one, Meatloaf was on there,
and he yelled at him.
Meatloaf was ripping into Gary Busey, and Gary Busey was just like,
What the hell?
When he's like, "Those are my pants."
Yeah, that was really fucking funny.
That's the weirdest combination of people.
Yeah, it is really weird. I think Penn Jillette is on the All-Star Celebrities right now. Dee Snider is on there. God, who? Oh, Arsenio Hall was on. He actually won, I think, Arsenio Hall. And
oh yeah.
Oh, Clay Aiken was on last season. I remember that.
Oh, Clay Aiken.
Awesome. Oh my god.
And I think, Little John is on the Celebrity All-Star Apprentice. Stephen Baldwin, LaToya Jackson.
Isn't Stephen Baldwin Alec Baldwin's
brother?
Conservative brother.
I think he is really. He's like really evangelical Christian, I think.
Yeah, and it's just odd because Alec Baldwin is like a Hollywood liberal. It's just, yeah.
The really funny thing, I actually watched, I was watching the first episode of Celebrity Apprentice, and, Stephen Baldwin was on Trace Atkins was the team leader, and, he was on that team, and, Donald Trump was asking why Stephen Baldwin didn't raise any money. He raised $0. And he was asking, Donald Trump brought up the infamous question, "What about your brothers? Why didn't you call your brothers?" And
oh, fun.
And Donald was like, "I know Alec. He's a very nice guy." And Stephen Baldwin was not a fan of that conversation.
Oh god, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he did not want to talk about his brothers at all. It was.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think if one of your brothers is a movie star and had a really long-running TV series and you're appearing on Celebrity Apprentice, I think you wouldn't want to talk about them.
Yeah. And he was even talking about, the Baldwin brothers, because, I was trying to remember, all the Baldwin brothers. It's, Alec, him, Billy, and
Happy
Dan, I think. But he had, 3 brothers he could have called up and asked to put money in, but no.
No, right.
If Alec Baldwin is your brother, you kind of have to expect that people are going to bring it up.
Yeah.
At this music festival my dad works at every year, one time they had Mick Jagger's brother, and this girl came up to him and was like, "Oh my god, are you really Mick Jagger's brother?" And he got all offended, he's so much better than me.
Oh god, fuck off.
I was looking at Stephen Baldwin's fucking Wikipedia page. Did you know he has a tattoo on his body, on his shoulder, that says HM? I want you to guess what it stands for.
HM.
Happily married.
No. Because if you look at his Wikipedia page and his personal life, it is full of just disaster after train wreck. And this is just part of that train wreck.
Oh god.
I want you to guess what it stands for.
Ugh. I got nothing.
I don't know. I can't think. Yeah, my mind's gone
think
blank.
of Miley Cyrus.
Hannah Montana?
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
god.
actually what it
Why,
stands for.
why does it stand for Hannah
It
Montana?
says he got the tattoo after a pact with Miley Cyrus that he would be allowed to cameo on the show Hannah Montana if he got the initials tattooed on him. He revealed the tattoo to Cyrus at a book signing in Nashville in 2008. He never appeared on the show and has since said he regrets getting the tattoo. That's the best thing I've read today, and it's not even 4 o'clock.
You moron.
Why would you want to be on Hannah Montana?
I know.
Because he was
Why
so
would she
shit poor
tattoo?
and knee deep in his mortgage. He's probably like, well, Alex never gonna invite me on 30 Rock.
Yeah, I think he had... The thing is, what's really funny is that Alec Baldwin had a character on that was meant to be his brother. He could have cast one of his many brothers. It would have been realistic. Cast Nathan Lane. To be honest, though, I'd cast Nathan Lane as my brother.
I watched a movie with Nathan Lane in it the other day, and it was called The Birdcage. It has
Oh, I love the Birdcage.
it has Robin Williams and Nathan Lane in it, and they play a couple gay guys.
Very.
And it's really funny. I loved Nathan Lane in that. Holy shit.
I just think he's genius. I could listen to the guy read the phone book.
Yeah.
Love that man. Love him to death.
I think one of the huge reasons I love the Broadway Guys and Dolls, because that was one of the musicals we did in high school, was Guys and Dolls. And
Were you in it?
huh?
Were you in it?
No, I was not. But I did listen to the Broadway soundtrack, and Nathan Lane is in the Broadway soundtrack.
Oh, really? How long ago is that from?
Probably like the 90s, I want to say.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he must have been quite young.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe it when I found out he was Timon. I shit my pants.
Like, what?
In a good way.
I remember after years and years and years, I actually figured out that Matthew Broderick was older Simba, and I was like, Inspector Gadget? Because that was...
Yeah, I know, right? And fucking Nathan Lane's mate out of the producers. It's like Simba and Timon back together again. Fucking awesome.
I actually, like, the first movie I ever saw Matthew Broderick in was Inspector Gadget, when I knew it was Matthew Broderick, but then it's like, oh, I didn't know he was Simba.
I know,
Yeah.
like, when I found out Bobcat Goldthwait was was he Pain or Panic? Whatever. When he was one of them, I was
One
like,
of them. One of the two.
Oh, and Hercules?
yeah.
He was
I couldn't
pain.
believe it in Hercules when I found out that Hercules was one of the dads from the OC.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, like the one that gets into all that money trouble in the first series.
You know what I couldn't believe? I couldn't believe that the Meg's voice actor wasn't famous, because I was sure I've heard her voice before, but she's hardly done anything.
No, she has got one of the most beautiful both speaking and singing voices I've ever heard. I'm jealous. I really like, with respect to Doug, like, I love Hercules. I love how fucking batshit crazy and erratic it is. Like,
That was
I like
my favorite
Hercules
Disney
too.
movie when I was a kid.
I love Hercules. Oh my god.
I don't know why Hercules gets so much shit. I don't understand it.
a lot of people really
Can
love it.
someone
I like
explain to me why it gets so much shit? Because I don't really understand it. I think it's funny as hell.
it.
You know what?
because
I think Hercules is better than Aladdin.
I like
it
it
really.
both.
Oh,
But then again, I really have a disdain for Aladdin.
Really?
A disdain.
why is that? Just out of curiosity.
I just don't think they blended the drama with the humor very well. I also found the genie like really annoying. But I think that
Robin Williams is a god. Excuse you.
The only thing I didn't like about Aladdin
No.
was pretty much Aladdin, because I
Yeah,
found him
Aladdin
obnoxious.
is like super bland. The character Aladdin is like super bland, I think.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
He's
I
kind of an
like-
asshole.
Yeah, and you're right,
Yeah,
Heather,
that's
he is
what it is.
obnoxious. That's exactly the word for him. I
Yeah.
would have hated him if I'd known him in real
There's
life.
actually a theory as to why there's so much pop culture references in Aladdin, and they're saying that it might be because, and this is a theory that people have come up with and support, that it's actually like a post-apocalyptic world that they live in. And that's
saw that.
why the genie is like making pop culture references. Like, this has already happened. It's not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That just made that film so much cooler.
Yeah.
My favourite bad movie is Return of Jafar, the sequel, the straight-to-video sequel. It is, honest to God, one of the most insane films I've ever seen. Like, you can watch it and, like, eyebrows will disappear, like, characters' faces will be, like, horribly distorted. The song is terrible.
My best friend really liked Return of Jafar. I remember, like, when we were kids, we would watch it.
I remember being 15 and going to my friend's house, and she had Return of Jafar on VHS, and I was like, oh, okay, I figured it's from she was a kid. And she's like, no, I watch that all the time. I'm like, really?
All the time. It is my bread and butter watching Return of Jafar. I don't know what I'd do without it. Worst film I've ever seen.
I think one of the most forgotten films of all time, and it was actually one that I watched so much, more than Aladdin. I watched Aladdin 3, which is King of Thieves, which is where
gets married.
Isn't it?
Aladdin finds his dad or some shit, and he's like the King of Thieves, and it's super cool, and Robin Williams is back in it, and it's like, I watched it so much when I was a kid for some reason, even though I had barely seen it.
It's alright, it's infinitely better than
it's better
Return
than
of Jafar,
yeah. I don't even
it's got a really good opening song.
I don't even think Jafar is in that one.
No,
he died for realsies in Return of Jafar.
Which is probably why I liked it so much, because there's like...
Actually, I'll tell you what.
You know?
My favourite thing in the whole Aladdin quote-unquote franchise is Gilbert Gottfried. That man.
Oh my god, Gilbert Gottfried is gonna be... Okay, so they have a new show called Celebrity Wife Swap, and it's when they take celebrities and switch their wives. The first episode they did was Kendra Wilkinson and Kate Gosselin, and that was as much of a train wreck as you would expect. And then last week it was Coolio. They switched Coolio and his wife and Mark McGrath, who is the lead singer of Sugar Ray, and he's like a super cool guy. But they switched his wife with Coolio's wife, and Coolio's like this huge asshole. And then next week they're doing Alan Thicke and Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh my god.
Isn't Gilbert Gottfried's wife about 13 though? I mean, like,
no, but I can't wait for that, because that's gonna be a train wreck.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It's gonna be great. Holy shit.
I saw a really sweet episode of Wife Swap. This is the British Wife Swap, where these two...
I was about to say, a sweet episode of Wife Swap. What the fuck?
I know, right? I mean, I was baffled. Like, it's not normally something I'd be a fan of. Watch it purely ironically.
The American version are just full of fucking cunts and assholes.
But this was an exception. They started... Basically, there were these two brothers that never spoke, and their families both applied for Wife Swap, and they both got on, and only realised when the swap happened. And it kind of brought their two families back together. It was lovely.
Oh,
that's so
yeah. Unless it was a massive marketing ploy.
One would hope that it was real, and, you know...
I hope so. I'd like to think that Kelly occasionally has some good in it.
It's just so the fact that they picked like the worst, like the exact opposite people, like the conservative Christian and then the lesbian couples. I think they had one, or just some bigoted lady, and then she switched them with a lesbian, and at one point she asked them how they had sex.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Jesus.
There's a thing called porn. Go look it up.
Yeah. Lesbian porn, it's everywhere. More popular than you'd think, but less than you'd hope.
I find it exactly as popular as I would think, but it's very obviously made for straight men, most of it anyway.
You know, it's like no pair of lesbians is that hot.
It's like these women clearly have absolutely no interest in each other.
Yeah.
They look bored.
Yeah.
I've never seen, not through kind of any like particular moral objection, but I've never seen porn. It's just never something that I've kind of sought out.
Are we gonna be girls talking about porn now? I thought that
why not?
I thought those boys think we don't exist.
I still haven't seen like a full length porn. I've seen like
closest
pictures on the internet and stuff, and that's only really recently.
I kind of want to see Edward penis hands, but then I also kind of don't want it.
I saw a clip of that blurred out on regular TV because they were making a joke about it. I don't remember what show it was, but they mentioned it, and then they showed the blurred out clip, and I was like, right in the childhood.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Right in the childhood. So are all his fingers penises?
There's one that sounds similar to that, but it's a Nightmare on Elm Street one.
Oh, God.
Glorious.
And I haven't seen it. I kind of
where-
want to, just to see what that's like, but...
Well, there's a bit in Nightmare on Elm Street where it's one of the scariest bits in the film, I think, where he's walking down an alleyway and his arms are really long.
Yeah, that's
and he's kind of
scary.
waving around like a big marionette.
Yeah.
And they might be penises.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I would object to that.
Yeah.
By the way, to do a slight U-turn, can I just for a second brag about the Book of Mormon?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I saw the Book of Mormon in the West End. I booked the tickets about 7 months ago. Otherwise, I would have stood no chance of seeing it in the first week of previews. I also saw it in New York, again, booked very early on. It was and is one of the most sublime things I've ever seen. I'm sure that's no secret to anyone who has or hasn't seen it. I now ship the fuck out of McPrisley. That's Elder Price and Elder McKinley. Harden the FedEx it's so good. There aren't words, but I would do whatever you can. Book like a year in advance if you have to. Just get a fucking ticket.
Yeah, I hear the waiting list in New York City is like so fucking long. Like it would take you 2 years to get in.
Actually, that's not the case. I mean, I met up with when I went to see.
I mean, when it first started, like when it first opened.
Oh, right.
Like the waiting list was 2 years long.
But like when I lived in London, I was a total theatre queen, and there were people telling me like, oh yeah, you're never going to be able to get tickets to Phantom of the Opera. Yeah, it'll be booked it's booked like 6 months in advance. If you go up on the day, they do ticket lotteries, they do half price booths, they do standing seats. Like there are always ways around that. Like I think that's a way to create a sort of desire. I think. But no show is ever completely sold out for 2 years. Like, that is a myth. But anyway, I would say do whatever you can, because it's funny, it's tear-jerking, I'm fucking in love with Elder Cunningham. It's just brilliant. I'm so lucky.
I need to get back into musical theater. I listened to... What did I listen to? I listened to Chicago yesterday.
Chicago's awesome.
Yeah.
I did a number from Chicago at drama school,
oh, cool.
Which I really enjoyed. Even though I got a fucking terrible grade for it, I really enjoyed it.
Boo.
Yeah, boo on that, right?
I think that's the closest musical theater thing I've done lately. Is just listen to the Chicago soundtrack while I've been playing video games.
I'm as big a member of like any musical theater fandom as any like geek fandom, and actually musical theater is just, I think, another kind of branch of the geek fandom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
It's just, yeah, absolutely. It's just as nerdy. You know, there's just as much waiting around for autographs. There's just as much fan fiction. There's just as much like obsessing on forums. There are just as many GIFs and illegal downloads. And yeah, I mean, like honestly, the musical theater fandom. If you want an obsessive fandom, like. And what's amazing is that there are people that have seen shows like 40, 50 times because they'll just do whatever they can to get a ticket, even if they end up paying £5 and standing up at the back, they'll do whatever the fuck they can.
Yeah. Oh, my dog just barked.
Hey, buddy.
Scared the hell out of me.
By the way, we were going to talk about, I think we were going to take a slightly more serious angle for a bit and talk about the Looper thing, I think.
Heather, do you want to talk about that first? You said you had stuff to say.
Oh, well, I just wanted the rage, at least, has died down slightly, so I could be able to talk about it without raising my voice. But yes. For anybody that doesn't know, I'm sure anybody that would listen to us would be familiar with that guy with the glasses and the whole Spoonie leaving incident, which people have blamed on Lupa because from what I understand, she basically called Spoonie out on his crap. Which I'd just like to point out that, you know, while I didn't find the joke that Spoonie made offensive, really, I can see how other people could. And had he made that comment at any normal job, he would have been fired.
Oh, yeah.
Not that he was. He said he left of his own accord.
He has said multiple times that he left of his own accord. I don't know how many times.
He's also said, I think, at one point that obviously Lupa, it was not her that did anything.
I don't know how many times. I don't know how many times he has to make that clear. He has made that perfectly clear about 4 times in 4 different videos.
I mean, what my stance on it is that even if she had stormed in with a list of signatures and demanded that he be fired, which obviously she didn't, because why would she? That does not excuse the behaviour of some of these people. Like, shame on you, seriously, if, you had any part in that.
Exactly. But...
Well, part of what? Explain
the whole thing... the Lupa has received, apparently, death threats. She said she's received about 6 rape threats, and I believe she's being harassed still over various websites and whatever, just people giving her shit because they hate her now because they're idiots. But the thing that really is pissing me off is just that it's just such a I can't say the word, but it's just such a ridiculous reaction to him leaving a website.
Over a year ago.
He's still doing his videos. He hasn't been affected, not to mention the fact that anything that really transpired was his fault. If he had just gone, look, I made a bad joke, sorry, I'm sure it would have been cleared up. Though, from what I understand in retrospect, that he was not in a mental state to do that.
Absolutely.
Nonetheless,
Heather, you should make this clear. You are a fan of Spoonies, correct?
I am a huge fan of Spoonie. He is my favorite reviewer. I love him. I have a crush on him. I adore him. Whatever. But you just have to put things in proportion. He left a website. People, from what I understand, of his fans were bitching that he was on the website in the first place. So, who cares?
I mean,
honestly.
Nothing. Had Spoonie, upped sticks and became a hermit and thrown his computer in a trash can, had Lupa, been, openly mocking him, none of that would have excused. And by the way, none of that did happen.
None of that happened.
No, that was a minor incident that got blown out of proportion.
Yeah.
None of that would have excused the behavior.
Nothing excuses.
No.
You don't send somebody a death threat for anything. Particularly don't send anybody a fucking rape threat. I don't know what the hell is wrong with those people. But this is the thing that just seems to be a popular tool for guys on the internet now. Like the Anita, I'm going to butcher her last name, Sarkeesian or something. The girl that does the Feminist Frequency YouTube videos. She decided to make a YouTube video series about tropes of women in video games. She would just got the death threats and the rape threats and the sexist comments just came pouring in because she dared point out sexism in video games.
Which does happen.
Yeah.
Either in an ironic manner or not. Like if you look at something like Duke Nukem, which is a video game where Duke Nukem is obviously kind of a womanizer, and stuff like that. That's done really ironically. It's done tongue-in-cheek. But you do have, video games that are offensive and people don't like because of those reasons. There are video games, I've seen, top 10 lists of, most offensive video games ever, and sexism is not the most offensive thing you could do in a video game, to be honest. I mean, there are obscure games out there that only get exposure because they're about, Columbine or some shit. There are video games where you play as the kids in Columbine, and...
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
Yeah. And, obviously stuff like Grand Theft Auto could be taken as stuff that's done tongue-in-cheek, stuff like that. Because it's so... When you look at Grand Theft Auto, I don't know why people have always taken stuff like Grand Theft Auto and Saints Row, where you go to strip clubs and you steal cars and shit. I don't know why people always take that so seriously, because it's so done so flamboyantly and just so out there, where you can have a bazooka and shoot it on the street. I don't understand why people get up. I mean, I understand why people get upset about it, but I don't understand why it's taken seriously. To be honest,
I don't understand how somebody pointing out an obvious flaw in the gaming industry somehow means you have to threaten them with death.
Yeah,
it's like.
Absolutely. I mean, like
or somebody leaving a website, your favorite reviewer leaving a website supposedly because he said something inappropriate. What is the big deal?
My like default setting now, just through I think just almost being jaded, which probably isn't a good thing, is just to kind of not get offended by things and just kind of think to myself, oh well, they probably didn't mean it. But I'm not going to attack people that do get offended, because they're still, for the most part, getting offended for the right reasons. They're getting offended because they want women to have equal rights and equal recognition, or they want gay people to have equal rights and equal recognition. And, you know, I think there is a real hatred of people that get offended by stuff. And I think, like, it to an extent, I mean, I get irritated when people blow tiny things out of proportion, but I do think that, like, the rape threats and the I'm
gonna find your house and kill you.
Yeah.
I would find those 6 people who have sent her letters about that and somehow find money to put those people into psych wards before they become mass shooters.
That is the kind of scary thing about the internet, because you don't know if these are the kind of guys that are saying it because they're trying to get a rise out of her and they know, you know, rape equals the thing that will get everybody the most offended, or if they're really genuinely so fucked up that they will try and find her.
I'm sorry if this is controversial, but that is genuinely how I believe that you end up with people like James Holmes. And those kids from Columbine, and Adam Lanza, and shit like that.
I think if you are of the mindset that, you know, because I think it's an issue particularly for women, because I think that rape is something that men, or the threat of rape is something that men on the internet say to women on the internet as a way of devaluing them, making them feel small, making them feel weak. It's it's seen as the most offensive thing you can say to a woman. So there's that. And I also think if you are of the mindset that, like Greer was saying, if you are of the mindset that you would think that was, or want to upset somebody to that degree, want to intimidate them to that degree, even if you are on the internet, it's this slow build-up of vitriol and bitterness that, is going to turn you into a psycho.
I just don't get it, like, because she's a fucking small-time reviewer on the internet. I don't get why that's warranting threats
people seem to just lose, like, perspective once they get behind the monitor.
It's losing perspective. That's what it is. Stupid
things seem more important, and the things you say don't seem to have a real effect because you're not seeing the person that you're doing this to.
Well, it's such an irony, isn't it? Because there's, you know, it's this idea that the people you're saying these things to, they're not going to be affected, and yet you claim to be so affected by what is going on your computer screen. You know, and it's like, can they not see the kind of juxtaposition there?
It's just, since I've been on the internet more lately, it's just made me think, have we always been this bad, this awful to each other, or is it just the internet bringing it out of us? Because it seems like, you just look at any video on YouTube and the kind of crap that goes in on there. I don't know why we're like this now.
It's because there's so much... It's because it's such an anonymous culture, and, like, you know, it's just, you can hide behind your screen name and your profile, and, you know, it's not, like, real confrontation.
It's just
bizarre. I want to find those people, those 6 people, and send those letters to their mother. Like, what would your... I'm talking directly to these people. What would your mother think if she saw that? And if you don't have a mother, you could have been the one that beat out all the statistics that say, you know, growing up without a mother figure in your life will fuck you up. There have been people that have beaten the odds and beaten those scientific scientific statistics, and you could have been one of those people, but no, you're fucked up.
I just want to say, in regards to Lupa, she's freaking awesome. The fact that she's still doing videos despite getting all these threats and stuff, she's amazing. I don't think I'd be able to do it. The thing is, she's not even doing videos like Lindsay does. Lindsay does like Nostalgia Chick. She does videos about, things that are fairly controversial, gay rights, women's rights, stuff like that. Yeah. Lupa does videos on dumb, obscure horror movies. I don't see how she gets more shit than Lindsay. Not saying that either of them should get shit for what they do. This all stems from the whole Spoonie thing. That's the only reason it happens. It's people. It's Spoonie's fans too. I mean, that real fan base. It's kind of weird to be like, oh yeah, I'm a Spoonie fan, and people just associate Spoonie fans with being batshit insane. The other thing is, when this first started happening, Scarlett, Spoonie's ex-girlfriend, posted a blog about how she had received similar things, like horrible emails. I don't know if she received death and rape threats, but I think I would assume that she did. Yeah, probably. She got so much hate because their relationship didn't work out. So it happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
it's not necessarily her fault or Spoonie's fault or anybody's fault. Sometimes it just doesn't work. Yeah. And the fact that she was able to write this blog.
Whoever fault it might have been, it's nobody else's fucking business.
Exactly.
Yeah, this righteous anger that's supposedly on Noah's behalf, I just think is absurd. You don't know him. You've never met the man. You probably, if you have, met him at con and not spent more than 5 minutes with him. I mean, it just...
Exactly. She's another example. She think that with such class.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I just say, I think April, his new girlfriend, is taking a really big risk.
I was thinking that, even on that new video with him doing the trying with the food stuff, somebody had to make a comment saying, well, at least this one isn't 400 pounds and full of herself. And I'm like, for one, let the whole relationship ending go. For two, she is not overweight.
She's not.
Scarlett? Scarlett just has big boobs. That doesn't mean she's fat.
It doesn't matter what her weight is. The fact is, just because she's not pencil thin and she has confidence does not make her full of herself or a bad person.
No, I love how women with confidence are full of themselves.
Which is, we can get into maybe some other time. But the point is that people still haven't let it go. I don't know how long ago they broke up.
Scarlett basically has, ever since then, she has, quit the internet. Because
it's sad, isn't it?
Which is sad, because I think she's awesome, and I wish she would do stuff again.
She seemed really... I was her Facebook friend for a while, and she seemed very clever and, a really cool person. And it's unfortunate that people just...
They ran her off the internet. They really did.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it really makes me understand why there are so few women doing what Lupa and Kaylin, Lindsay do. It's because women... everything to do with women has to be about the fact that they're women. So that they're too sexual, they're not sexual enough, they're pencil thin, they're overweight, they're too confident, they're too mousy and unsure of themselves. Everything is about them being the wrong kind of woman, either in the eyes of other women or in the eyes of men. They can't just be people in their own right who are funny and unique in their own ways.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know why these girlfriends always get so much hate. Do you remember how much people hated Liz?
I saw somebody make a comment on her appearance.
People didn't like Liz because she was not she is not the standard that men see as somebody who is beautiful. I think Liz is cool. I don't give a fuck what she looks like.
No, she's awesome.
I think she's cool as hell.
She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. And do you know what? I bet she could kick every one of their asses. And you know what? I think she's beautiful. She's beautiful.
I don't give a fuck what she looks like. I think she's cool. I want to be her. I think she's cool.
Exactly. I mean, no, you're right. Regardless of what she looks like. She's an awesome person.
Right,
The
like,
looks
oh,
should
she
be
looks like a
incidental.
tranny, and I'm like, fuck you.
I know.
Number one,
It's like-
even if she was, what would be wrong with it?
Exactly.
I don't know, I'm
It's
getting
kind of
really
like calling
salty.
somebody gay on the internet. It's like, what's your point?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm getting increasingly annoyed with is on Tugwatug Secrets, people posting about how they're scared of Diamond Hagen and scared of Bennett. I know this is slightly off topic, but I just think there is something really insulting about saying that you're scared of someone. It really offends me. Like, I don't particularly watch either of their videos just purely because they don't cover a lot of stuff that I'm that into, apart from Hagen.
Yeah. I think at first I wasn't really sure I'd be into Diamonda's videos, but I think that's more the content of the movies she reviews.
Well, yeah,
But she's
exactly.
funny.
It's not your thing. But
And
yeah,
I love Bennett too. He's hilarious.
yeah, Bennett is hilarious. Like, his fan fiction masterpiece there.
I wish she would bring that back. Off topic, I wish she would bring that back. Real talk.
Yeah, there is so much more. There are so many more places to go with it. But I mean, I know. I think, yeah, like, bullshit. You find them scary. Get over it. And like, even if you do, that's okay. Maybe those are your personal feelings. But I'm sorry, keep them to yourself. I think it's a really
that's the kind of
mean
thing
thing
that's
to
just
say.
like, there's no need for you to put that out there. That's just needlessly hurtful, potentially, to the person you're saying it about.
Yeah.
You know what I hate? I hate when people pull that, well, this is America's freedom of speech card. Have you read the Declaration of Independence? Or the Constitution, excuse me. Have you read the Constitution? Excuse you. But do you know what the freedom of speech amendment was put in for? It's so 300 years ago, it was so that it used to be, if you said any remark about the government, any negative remark about the government, you could be arrested. But now they put it in saying you can protest, you can say whatever you want about the government. It was put in for the government, not for you to freely call a woman on the 300 years ago, the non-existent internet, a tranny bitch cunt. Like, that's not what that's for.
It's not just that. Yeah, sorry, Fran, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as a human being, you should have discretion. You should understand what is acceptable and what isn't.
The whole freedom of speech thing, it's freedom to say what you want, but that other people, you have to, it's not freedom from consequences. Like, if you go into, like, I don't know, a church or something and say something really offensive against that religion, they have the right to kick your ass out.
It's not freedom of speech, it's having manners.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can say what you want, but
you can say what you want.
What is necessary. Like, I would stand up personally, and I would say there are aspects of, all religions that are kind of a genuine concern to me, because I think that those things have an effect on the world and on other people. I think whether you're scared of Diamanda Hagen because she wears eyeliner, that nobody gives a fuck. Keep it to yourself.
Exactly.
I mean? Yeah.
It's like, you can say something, but, if you get backlash for saying something inappropriate or what's deemed inappropriate by other people, they also have the right to tell you you're a dick.
Yeah.
So deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I always relate this to, and I felt, this is one reason I felt like The Wizard of Oz was a movie way before its time. When Dorothy first meets the Scarecrow and says, well, if you don't have a brain, how can you talk? And the Scarecrow says, well, some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they? Dorothy's like, I guess you're right. And I'm like,
yeah,
I'm like, this movie knew its shit.
It predicted the internet.
Yeah. Or this book,
honestly,
it might have been in the book too. Frank Baum, way before his time.
Pretty impressive.
People have always been saying stupid shit. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Do we want to move on to a lighter topic really quick before we...
Yeah, that's I think good idea, but I think I'm glad we covered this topic.
Yeah, before we piss ourselves with anger.
Yeah. By the way, Heather, I love your profile picture.
Grumpy cat.
It's got cat. Good.
That's my favorite.
I found out that my little brother is like Grumpy Cat in real life. Like, he says stuff like that. Like,
Great.
anytime I read a grumpy cat, anytime I read a grumpy cat meme, I'm like, that's something he would say.
My friend Paul Whedon, I think, is definitely grumpy cat. If you're listening, hi Paul. He is a kind of minor YouTube celebrity because there's a video of him when he was about 15 starting a vlog, and his friend punching him in the head. His friend punches him in the head, rather, and he said to his friend, just like on the spur of the moment, like, "Oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this." And that
I've seen that.
Yeah, that's my friend Paul. It became a meme. It became
I can't believe you've done this.
Yeah, oh fuck, I can't believe you've done this. Like, sort of haughtily. But he says funny stuff like that all the time. Like, we were watching, do you have Dragon's Den over there?
No, but I've heard of it.
So it's basically about, like, a bunch of, like, sort of businessmen and women. They're on a panel, and then these kind of entrepreneurs come in and pitch ideas to them. And apparently, I wasn't there when this happened, but a mate of mine was telling me that he was watching this with Paul, and a really terrible, like, healthy eating scheme for kids idea came up, and the people that were pitching it they were dressed as fruits, and Paul was getting really angry about what an awful idea it was. And he was saying, oh, well, at least nobody will know who they are. And then when they took their costumes off, he stood up and apparently went, "Anonymity fucked."
Actually, I think we did have an American version of that, but I don't know if it's still on.
I honestly, like, it's the kind of thing that I'm surprised they haven't remade in America.
I just know about it because of Tosh.0, honestly.
Because of what?
Oh, just on Tosh.0, they did a sketch about it where he makes a big giant ski ball thing, and then they just put clips from the show of the panelists telling him how awesome he is.
What's Tosh Point? Whatever you said, I think I could.
It's Daniel Tosh's show where he looks at viral videos. Are you
familiar with The Soup with Joel McHale?
Talk Soup, yes. I watch Talk Soup every week.
It's basically The Soup only with web videos. They had a Web Soup one, which I loved, that had Chris Hardwick, and I kind of refer to Tosh.0 as
Chris Hardwick, wasn't it?
I kind of refer to
about that show.
Yeah, like it only lasted like 3 or 4 seasons, I think. Yeah, but I was like, Tosh.0 is like Web Soup only without the funny.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I think it's hilarious, and they also I know people have their issues with Daniel Tosh. I don't know. I think he's really funny.
I think he's okay.
I never found it particularly funny.
I think he says whatever he wants without caring who he offends.
Yeah.
I read recently that there was some controversy with him regarding if I'm thinking of the right person, like the rape that he made.
He made a rape joke, I think, towards a heckler in his audience, and he got a lot of shit.
Right, we're already back on the rape jokes.
Yeah.
Right?
He made a rape joke.
Which is, like, I don't know. One thing I always hear from comedians is, like, hecklers are so rude. Like, no matter who you are or whatever, and I agree. Hecklers are fucking rude, and people need to shut up when they're at a damn comedy show.
No, I agree. And I mean, I think, it can be forgiven. It was a spur of the moment thing. I'm sure he doesn't do it all the time. I don't know.
But that's kind of what you're supposed to do when you're a comedian. If someone heckles you, you kind of have to just go with it.
Yeah.
Well, yes, exactly. It was spur of the moment. I mean, I don't know enough about the situation or about the man to...
I think the situation was he made a rape joke in his stand-up, and she said out loud to him, "That's not funny, I find that offensive," type thing.
And then she started to walk out.
I think he said something along the lines of, to her, I think he said, "Wouldn't it be funny if she got raped right now," type thing, which...
Oh, no, I can see why people...
That's not funny.
Yeah. I mean, what I thought happened was that he was making a joke, and she heckled, and then he made a rape joke at her. I didn't realise that all she did was say that she was offended.
But she has to be offended, if she's at a comedy show, she has to be offended silently.
Yeah,
there was no need to say it out loud when everybody else was potentially enjoying it. You can just leave, but still,
and that just ruins it for everybody else who's there to enjoy the show.
And actually, like, the thing is, like, I like a lot of controversial comedians, and I think actually, like, intent. A lot of people think intent is irrelevant, but actually, I think you have to take intent into account and context, or you couldn't joke about anything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I was looking at Grumpy Cat memes, and I was trying to think of which one would fit my brother the most. And there's one where it says, I think I might be emotionally constipated. I haven't given a shit in days. And that sounds something exactly like my brother would say, because he's just so blunt. There's some of them that are just, like, really blunt. And it's like, there's one that, like, with Boy George, and he says, do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? And Grumpy Cat says, yes.
I think there was a Valentine's one that said, roses are red, violets are blue. I hate you.
Yeah. Oh my god, this one's awful. It says, there's a picture, it looks like an ad or something. It's some girl sitting against a wall, and it's in black and white. It says, teen suicide. And then Grumpy Cat says, do it.
Oh.
That's awful.
Jesus.
But, I prescribe to, like, the Matt and Trey theory of either everything is okay to joke about or nothing is.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I mean, I really respect Matt and Trey. Like, I disagree with them sometimes. Sometimes I don't, very occasionally I think their opinions can come across as a little bit like on the wrong sort of, or what I think is kind of the wrong side. But I really, really respect the fact that they are nobody's fool. They say exactly what they want, and they mean everything they say. It's never about trying to appeal to a particular group, or like, what can we cut, what can't we cut. Like, they make no sacrifices. I really admire that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, apparently, back to Grumpy Cat, South by Southwest is going on.
You've said that like twice now.
South by Southwest is going on today, which is a convention. It's like a media convention, and Grumpy Cat is doing a meet and greet.
Like the actual cat?
Like the actual cat, yeah.
Like they're gonna
see a video of the kitty. He's not actually grumpy. He just looks grumpy.
Yeah.
Oh,
there was like something wrong with his face or something. Like he was just born that way.
Oh.
So cute.
Like I'm already seeing pictures of it. He's just like on a little stand with a pillow, and there's a sign next to him. It says, "One time someone tried to pet me. It was awful."
This would be a well-behaved cat if you can just have it at a convention and not have it like lose its shit.
Yeah, like people are just like holding him and petting him and stuff, and it looks like really.
See, my cat would not tolerate that shit.
My cat.
I think my cat would tolerate it, but just like quietly have contempt for it.
Yeah.
My cat. One time we took my cat to my mom's or my aunt's campaign office, which was literally at the end of our street. And he got so scared that he ran out the door when someone came in, and he ran the opposite way, and he spent the night in the graveyard because he was so scared.
Oh, kitty.
I just found a picture. What if Grumpy Cat became the Pope?
That would be the best Pope ever.
The new Pope?
I don't think you can elect a cat.
They did once in Alaska, I think.
What? No, what?
Yes, that's a true. Okay, no, this is a true story. Let me just tell you about this story once I find the correct article that says that I'm right.
Yeah, it's a true story. It happened to a friend of mine. Oh my god, remember that shit?
It's like those Carl Pilkington stories. Like, a mate of mine, he was saying, right, that this, like, monkey robbed a bank. Like, it's...
It was in Alaska. Okay? And they elected him mayor.
What?
Because, and he's been mayor for a while, because he was popular in the town, so people did like a write-in election about a decade ago when he was a kitten, and it beat out all the human candidates.
You know what? I'd probably vote for a cat over a lot of people.
And so he's been mayor, I think, for like 15 years in this Alaska town.
Jesus, though, that's...
And so in that town, they don't have any sales tax because he doesn't raise any taxes, and he doesn't interfere with any businesses.
Wow.
Because he's a fucking cat.
Like, please tell me his name is like Sprinkles or something.
His name is, his name is Stubbs.
Okay.
with two B's.
Oh, God.
And God.
You know what, though? That is basically the plot of Cats and Dogs. Like, Cat wants to take over the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that is if Cats and Dogs ended and the cats won.
Yeah.
Meh.
I remember that movie. I used to watch
When I
that
was-
movie so much when I was a kid.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, I wanted the cats to win because I always liked cats so much better than dogs.
Yeah, I just thought they were all douchebags.
I remember I read your review on it, and I'm like, yeah, it was pretty shit, but, you know.
Yeah, I enjoyed writing that review. It's one of those films that because I didn't see it when I was a child, I am angered by it deeply.
Oh,
I saw-
hey, you can add the cat as a friend on Facebook, by the way.
Grumpy Cat?
Remember
the
he-
Mayor Stubbs. There you go.
Oh, well, that's awesome. Here we go.
Actually, it says his friend requests are too piled up, so you can follow his public posts.
Oh,
my
right.
God.
I might add him as well, just in case.
Yeah, there you go.
Wait, what was that? Wasn't there like a small town in America where there was a chicken and his head got cut off and he lived for like a whole bunch of days and then they built a statue of him?
I think I've heard about that multiple times.
That's got to be a myth, though, I reckon.
Like, there are
Yeah.
a lot of animals that can live for like hours without their heads.
No, because I remember I saw a news story about it when I was little and they showed the statue and they interviewed the guy and he said that he like fed it through its neck, through the hole in its neck with
Oh
an
my
eye.
god.
That's really
incredible.
fucked up, man.
Why would you want to keep that thing alive?
It seems cruel, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's got to be like that's got to be hell. Being
Well-
fed through your neck and not having a head.
Yeah. We gotta
Wait, how
stop
would you
before
even-
the animal rights people, like, get sick on us.
We do not condone chopping all the heads off of chickens.
Yeah, we're doing that shit.
You condone chopping heads off people.
Yeah. I condone eating chicken from the grocery store and my McNuggets, but that's about it.
My God. Do you remember that scene in Chicken Run where that one chicken gets her head cut off and it's like the saddest thing in
That
the
was
world?
the most traumatic thing I'd ever seen.
Oh god. Oh my god. I've completely forgotten about that. Horrible.
Oh, I cried for so long.
I still can't believe that Mel Gibson was in Chicken Run. I just think that's awesome. Like
Was
this
he?
weird little British movie. Yeah, Mel Gibson was like, what was the name of the like American rooster?
He was like Roosty or something, I don't remember.
No, or like Rocky or Rocco
Oh,
or
yeah,
something
Rocky, that was it.
Rocky. Yeah, like I
That
can't
was Mel
honestly like, Mel
Gibson.
Gibson. That's I think that's so cool. Even though he's fucking insane, I think that's cool.
Mel Gibson's fucking terrifying.
He really is. The South Park episode about Mel Gibson is one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh my God, yes.
Mel Gibson scares the living fuck out of me. I would not want to meet Mel Gibson in a dark alley.
No.
Ever.
I'll tell you what though, I wouldn't mind meeting Tommy Wiseau in a dark alley. Because I think he'd be really passive. Like, I think you could beat the crap out of Tommy Wiseau and he'd have no idea.
Yeah.
But why would you want to? That's like picking on a handicapped kid.
Oh no, true.
Oh my god.
He is legitimately. I mean, I like not in the way that Mel Gibson is kind of like he's got like horrible opinions. Like, I think Tommy Wiseau has something.
That Tommy Wiseau guy, he has something there.
There's something not quite right there.
Legitimately not quite right, like medically.
You're medically in the sort of brain
Psychologically.
area.
Like he gives off that aura, like, I want to study that.
Yeah, about it.
I want
Well,
to
the thing
follow him around for like 3 days.
What's so weird about him is just it's his perception of himself and then the rest of the world's perception of him. It's like he thinks he's this kind of profound sort of student of human nature, you know, a real sort of deep philosophical guy, and that is genuinely how he thinks people see. Like, he thinks that the reason the room is so like kind of bashed is because it's misunderstood and like it's too kind of deep to appreciate. He doesn't understand that it is just genuinely bad. I legitimately don't think he understands that.
Sometimes I lie down and think, like, what if there is something in the room that we're missing? Sometimes I think about that some days. Like, what if there is, like, something seriously profound and so beyond our time that we just haven't understood it yet?
It would be incredible, wouldn't it? What if Tommy Wiseau, because it's all perspective,
What if
isn't
he
it?
became the Pope?
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. I think he's my sensei, Tommy Wiseau.
I think I had seen that you had posted an article on your Facebook, Fran, about how Europe is ready for a hot Pope or something like that.
Yeah. I posted that as a link to my cousin. I thought you'd get a kick out of it, but yeah. I've
read that anyone who is Catholic basically has a chance to be the Pope.
Oh, you know that article was a spoof, don't you? It was like The Onion, like the Daily Mash.
Yeah, I know, but like, I've read that before, right? Like,
oh God, I don't know. Maybe
anybody who's Catholic has a chance to be the Pope, correct?
Apart from obviously women.
Yeah, or am I wrong?
No, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I mean,
I've heard that before.
Maybe there is some really, because like the thing is, like, it probably is technically like correct, but like the chances of it ever happening are like probably slim to none.
Yeah. I don't know where I've heard that before, but like I've just heard that. Like, anybody who is Catholic basically has a chance at it. I might be completely wrong here. I don't know, but
it's like the same thing as like any American citizen has a chance at being president.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Like, I mean, like, Jean-Claude Van Damme is Catholic. He could be the next Pope.
He's not going to be Pope.
Amazing.
That would be really awesome, though.
That would be incredible. I want Carl Pilkington to be the next Pope.
That would be amazing. I don't think he's Catholic, but
I
convert.
But he'd believe anything, wouldn't he? I mean,
yeah.
I think one of my favourite quotes of his is, oh God, I heard it recently. It was on some Australian radio show, and they'd been talking about how he once said that if you eat 7 bananas in a row, you'll die. And he said like, he was like, yeah, but saying that, you know what else I heard, right? You know pineapple, right? I've heard if you like stick a load of that in a bath and get it, it'll kill you over a week. And they just pissed themselves. Like, basically, we're just ripping off the Ricky Gervais show now. Just, Carl says funny shit in a northern accent and everyone laughs.
Yeah. Is that what that accent is, a northern one?
Yeah, well, it's Manchester.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to hear a real Mancunian accent, look not to Daphne from Frasier, but to Carl Pilkington.
Okay. I think, didn't the last episode of Derek air this week?
Yeah, have you watched it yet?
I didn't know it was going to be the last episode already. Why are Ricky Gervais's shows so fucking short?
Oh, it's because they're English. They're all 6 episodes.
God.
Why are these shows so short? I want to know.
I don't know. Why are American shows so long? Seriously, 24 episodes a season.
Well, the standard, I think, is 13.
They do that in Japan, too. Anime seasons either last 12 or 24 episodes a season.
Like, wouldn't you rather
13,
have
13.
4 episodes than less?
I don't know what. Maybe it's to keep the quality up.
That makes sense.
Walking Dead has 6 episodes a season.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's to keep the kind of quality at a sort of decent level, so that they're not just like with something like Glee, you get the impression that they're just scraping the bottom of the barrel for ideas. Like, whereas with you watch The Office or something, and that's like they did 2 seasons, right? So that's like 12 perfect episodes.
But the American Office has been going for
yeah, and I kind of
40
think the American
fucking years now.
Actually, to be fair,
seems like it's been going on forever.
And yeah. I think a lot of shows, they need more episodes to kind of grow and find what they're about.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair.
Didn't Derek just get? They said it was going to be for a 2nd season now.
Yeah, they've just renewed it.
Cool.
But I mean, actually, to be fair, there are some absolutely shit British shows and there are some amazing American shows. So I don't know. Maybe it is just the way TV has developed over here. I mean, it's interesting that it's never kind of evolved where we do have sort of 24 episodes a season. Like,
I think it depends on like what is on prime time and what is on like cable television. Like The Simpsons is on cable television and they have an episode every single week and they show it every day. Friends was on cable television. Roseanne was on cable television. All of these shows that have lasted for years and years and years are sitcoms that were on cable television and have lasted, or even just crime shows or whatever. And there are shows, I tend to see, like, the ones that have shorter seasons are the ones that are more almost cinematically produced, like The Walking Dead, and which is not on cable, which is not on basic cable television. It's on AMC, or like Game of Thrones, or like anything on HBO. They're more produced. They're produced
like
better.
Over here, like Sherlock is like sort of the equivalent of that. It's like cinematically produced, and it's very kind of it's kind of event television, and that's like 3 episodes a season.
Sherlock. I still gotta watch Sherlock.
Sherlock's brilliant.
Sherlock's amazing.
Yeah. My best friend just got into all the British shows like Doctor Who. She's obsessed with Doctor Who. I'm like, oh my god, not you too. And
it's amazing.
And now she's watching Sherlock, and I'm like, oh no.
No, she's got the right idea, Greer.
But now I have to tell her to watch Game of Thrones next, and after this, I'm probably gonna go watch some more Game of Thrones. If this podcast is out late, I apologize. I was too busy watching Game of Thrones.
Say that.
I feel like I don't know when the 3rd episode or when the 3rd season premieres. It's sometime this month, isn't it? Does anybody know when the 3rd season of Game of Thrones starts?
I have no idea. I've never seen it. I really want to.
Oh my god. the top one of the top things for when you try to type in Game of Thrones is Game of Thorns. And I'm like, oh no. I'm trying to see when season 3 premieres. Season premiere. Oh god. It's been all over YouTube, but I still don't know when it comes out.
I loved that.
March 31st is when season 3 of Game of Thrones premieres. So I have to finish up season 1 and 2, which are all on demand free on my video on demand. No, not video on demand. It's just on demand service. So.
Oh, cool.
I don't know why we get HBO for free now. I'm not really sure why. We didn't pay for HBO. We just kind of get it now.
We started getting the Sci-Fi Channel for free. Like, we find all these random channels we suddenly have for free, and then like really, really sort of mainstream ones for some reason we won't get. Like, it's really random.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why. Just all of a sudden one month we just started getting HBO, and I'm like. Like
that's one thing. Like, I really wish we had HBO.
Like HBO and Showtime and Cinemax and Movieplex. Like, I don't know where they came from. I'm happy that we have them, but you know, they just started showing, you know, what's like new like movies that have come out on DVD that have been out for like I think a little less than a year. Like my mom just watched Tower Heist the other day, which is that Eddie Murphy, Ben Stiller movie. And I'm like, didn't that come out like not even a year ago? Like, I don't even remember, but it's like now we can just watch it for free, whatever. Technology.
In Canada, we have this channel, the Space Channel, which is like the Canadian Sci-Fi Channel. It's amazing.
Yeah, the American Sci-Fi Channel is pretty fucking great. It's like full of so much derp. It is.
Yeah, and they have these things in between the commercials. There's things called the inner space moments where they just interview a random geek, like at a Comic-Con or something. And they did amazing. It. And they interviewed my aunt's brother because he has the biggest Transformers collection in Winnipeg.
Oh no, that's awesome. That's amazing. Oh, actually, talking of like nerdy like paraphernalia. I nearly died because Matthew tweeted that he had just got the Simpsons season 7 box set and it came with a Smithers Top Trumps card, and it's like I have that DVD and it came with the Smithers Top Trumps card, and it is it's my lucky I take it everywhere and it lives on my mirror when it comes home.
I know I have the official Eric Cartman Society little card in my wallet from the DVD.
Oh, that's amazing.
But the Sci-Fi Channel here in America is just the derpiest thing you have ever seen on television. The sci-fi original movies are some of the greatest things that have ever been put on television.
Oh,
And by
also-
that, they are so
they have,
fucking awful. It is.
They have Warehouse 13 on the Sci-Fi Channel, which is actually a really, really
Yeah,
good show.
the only
Yeah, it always looks good when I see adverts for it.
Sometimes I watch sci-fi only because they have this show called Scare Tactics, which is, I love that show so
Oh yeah, that.
I would do
Oh, yeah.
that to you, Fran. If you've ever watched Scare Tactics,
I know
awful.
you would. That's why I don't want to come to America.
I want you to find if you've never heard of it, I want you to find an episode of Scare Tactics on YouTube. It is the greatest thing ever.
I know I'm a little bit late to the party, but I really want to start watching Supernatural.
Supernatural.
Oh, that's so good.
Here's,
I only started watching that last year on Netflix, and now I'm obsessed with it.
yeah, I hear it's alright. It seems
Yeah,
a little
what
too
I've heard
long
about it
for
is
me.
that it's quite lightweight, but really funny.
It seems a little
It
too
is.
long for me. I don't know. It's like, how many seasons are there?
They're on season 8.
How many episodes per season?
I'm thinking 13 to 14.
That's not bad.
They're really good though.
Yeah. Which is,
I caught one where it was like there was some like other group filming this thing, and then the Supernatural guys turned
Oh,
up
yeah.
and she gets trapped in a house, and that it
Like-
really made me laugh. That was a great episode.
The ghost facers.
Yeah, Ghost Faces. That was it.
It's
And there was the
parody
gay guy
of-
that was in
yeah,
love with
like-
one of them. It was just really funny and really.
I remember the
Funny.
first clip of Supernatural. The first thing of Supernatural I ever watched was, I'd seen GIFs on pictures on Tumblr and stuff, and I know about Supernatural, but on the Soup they had a clip from one of the episodes, and it was some unicorn had killed somebody and then ran away, and it was farting rainbows. And it was like one of their like clips of the week or some shit, and I'm like, I should probably watch Supernatural.
Yeah, guys, tell me about it. That's fucking hilarious.
Like, 'cause
It seems like
you
something
see
I'd
a-
really
you
like.
see a guy.
They have a lot of really good jokes in that show.
Just in the clip, you see some guy running, and it's all dark and serious, and then he gets speared through like a sign or something, and you don't
Yeah,
know what it is, and it's all like, oh my god, this is gonna be fucking awful, and then it's a goddamn unicorn, and then it runs away with a trail of rainbows coming out of its butt, and I'm like, what the fuck am I
Oh,
watching?
Fucking awesome.
Seriously, though, you should get Netflix and just watch
Yeah,
all of it.
we used
Oh,
we used to
Okay.
have Netflix, but then remember when they raised their price?
No.
Oh, like a couple years ago, they raised their price by like.
I thought they just raised the price. They did it so that you paid like $7.99 for the streaming, and then they want you to pay another $7.99 in order to rent the DVDs and stuff,
Yeah.
which I don't really care about because I had absolutely no intention of renting the DVDs. I just watched the streaming.
Yeah, no, when they raised their price a couple years ago, my parents were one of the privileged white people who got really pissed off about it because they raised their price by like $1
Yeah.
with Netflix. And I'm like, you guys are fucking idiots.
I like Netflix a lot because that's how I got through Supernatural. Like I've seen all of Firefly now. It's just they've got to watch so many different shows that I wouldn't have otherwise because I don't want to go out and buy the DVDs at the risk that I don't like them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I, as a rule now, don't buy any DVD unless it's got decent extras, because otherwise, if I can have it online or if I can have it at my leisure or for free, like I'd just rather do that than go out and get the DVD.
There was a controversy about the Avengers DVD over there. Do you have the Avengers DVD?
No, I don't.
Because there's
No,
fuck.
I don't.
In your words, there was fuck all on it.
Yeah, precisely. Sweet fuck all. I'm not.
I would send you a copy from America, but then they have that region bullshit that's still on
Yeah,
DVDs for
what's
some
the
reason.
point of Region 1,
I
Region 2?
have no
I don't
clue.
know.
Ridiculous.
I think James Rolfe talks about it in one of his it's bullshit videos, and I completely agree. I don't know why they exist.
It's nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are we gonna
We have
wrap
to
up?
wrap up. I love the way you said that. Holy shit. Yeah, I can't do that. Yeah.
I can't turn my eyelids inside out though.
I don't understand why it's hard for people to roll their tongues.
Yeah, you can do it as well, right, Serena?
Yeah. Brrr.
Can't do that shit. Just spit goes everywhere when I try to do that.
You know, I'll tell you what else I can't do. I can't raise one eyebrow. I'd love to be able to do that.
I can kind of do that, but not.
Yeah, I can kind of do it.
Really,
I just end up like squinting like a freak.
it makes me look like an asshole when I try to do it, so I just don't do that. Yeah, we'll wrap up. I'll put the URL to the blog right here.
Awesome sauce.
Also,
I think we should also have a link to Mayor Stubbs.
yeah, Mayor Stubbs, go subscribe to the cat from last. Do it.
If you take anything away from this podcast, it's that you should be following the cat on Facebook.
Yeah.
Mayor Stubbs approves this message.
Yeah. I'll put that up. So yeah, we're gonna go. I gotta go watch Game of Thrones before my mom claims the TV for the night. So I at least gotta get like 2 episodes in. So.
No, fair play.
All right. So bye bye everybody.
TCFN.
Have a nice day.
Bye.